All right, so you've been hanging out in DeFi, probably lending out some stable coins, getting your feet wet, and that's great. But today, we're going way beyond the kiddie pool. We're diving into the deep end, the advanced playbook to unlock some seriously high-yield strategies. It is time to level up your DeFi game.
So let's just be real for a second. You're earning that 5% APY, that annual percentage yield, and look, it feels safe, it feels steady, but in a world that moves as fast as DeFi, is that return really making the most of your money, or is it kind of just keeping you on the sidelines?
Because while 5% is nice, some of the strategies we're going to talk about are targeting returns of 50% APY, sometimes way, way higher. Now hold on, that is not a promise. It's a possibility. And getting there, well, it's going to take a whole new level of skill and, you guessed it, a whole lot more risk.
Honestly, the best way to think about this whole thing is like a skill tree in a video game. You start off with the basic moves, but the really awesome power-ups, the game-changing abilities, those are unlocked when you start tackling the tougher challenges. DeFi is exactly the same. The bigger the rewards, the higher the difficulty. So, what's that first big level up? It's shifting your mindset from just using an exchange to actually becoming a part of the exchange. This is all about liquidity provision, and it's how you can start earning what they call real yield straight from transaction fees.
The core idea here is actually pretty simple. Instead of some big bank or company matching buyers and sellers, decentralized exchanges use these things called liquidity pools. You just put a pair of tokens into a big shared pot, and in return for doing that, you get a little slice of the fees from every single trade that happens in that pool.
And getting started is surprisingly easy. You just take two assets, let's say Ether and USDC, and you deposit an equal dollar amount of both. The protocol then hands you a little digital receipt, an LP token, and boom, you are immediately earning trading fees. It's that simple to get in the game.
But, and this is a big but, not all pools are created equal. Your risk and your potential reward can swing wildly depending on what tokens you pick. Pairing two stablecoins like USDC and USDT, super low risk, but, low reward. But pair something like Ether with a brand new altcoin, now you're in high risk, high reward territory. And well, you can see the last category, that's not investing, that's straight up gambling.
And you know how it is in any game, right? A level with this much reward, it's always got a boss manster waiting for you at the end. And in the world of providing liquidity, that boss has a very specific and very scary name. Yeah, let's talk about the impermanent loss monster. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest risk you face as a liquidity provider. And it's a concept you absolutely have to understand before you even think about putting $1 into a pool. So how does this monster get you? Well, remember, that pool has one job: to keep the dollar value of both your tokens balanced. So if the price of one token, let's say Ether, goes to the moon, the pool automatically sells some of that high-flying Ether for the other token to keep things balanced. What does that mean for you? It means you end up with less of the asset that's performing well and more of the stable one. Just look at the chart. If you had just held on or hodled, your portfolio would be worth more. Your only hope is that the trading fees you earn are high enough to make up for that loss.
And all of that brings us to the golden rule of providing liquidity. This is the core takeaway. If you wouldn't be comfortable just holding both of those assets through some wild price swings, then you should not, I repeat, should not be providing liquidity for them. Full stop. Okay, you ready to level up again? Good. Welcome to the yield farming gold rush. This is where we take that liquidity provider skill we just learned and we start stacking other strategies on top of it to seriously juice your returns. Okay, over on the left, you see basic farming. Deposit your stuff, earn some yield. Easy peasy. But on the right, that's where things get wild. You can deposit an asset in one place, use it as collateral to borrow something else, then take that borrowed asset and go earn yield somewhere else entirely. You're suddenly earning from 3 different sources at once. But, and you have to get this, you are also taking on the risk from every single protocol in that chain. One weak link, and the whole thing can fall apart. Now, I know what you're thinking. Managing all of that sounds like a full-time job. You're constantly claiming rewards, redepositing, calculating fees. It's a lot. If you want to simplify things, you can use a power-up called an auto compounder. Think of these as little robot farmers that do all the hard work for you. You just deposit your funds, and they go out, find the best yields, and automatically reinvest your earnings to get that sweet, sweet compounding effect.
And different platforms have different play styles, right? Yarn is known for being safer, more conservative, Beefy is a bit more aggressive, and a protocol like Convex is a total specialist in stablecoin pools. You're basically trading a small piece of your profit for total convenience and automation.
Okay, everybody stop. Let's just pause for a second because this next part is, without question, the most important section of this entire explainer. We've talked about all the high rewards, but none of that means anything if you get wiped out. This is your DeFi survival guide. Do not skip this. First things first, position sizing. These aren't suggestions, these are hard rules you need to set for yourself. Like never putting more than 10% of your entire crypto portfolio into any single protocol. Don't let your crazy yield farming adventures take up more than a quarter of your stack. You always want to keep a solid base in simple lending and have a cash-like reserve of stablecoins for safety and for buying opportunities. Spreading your bets like this is what keeps you alive to play another day. Second, you have to do your own research. Seriously, this isn't like buying a stock where there are analysts to help you. You are the analyst. So before you jump into some new, shiny protocol, you got to ask the tough questions. Has it been around for a while? Does it have a serious amount of money locked in it? Has its code been checked by a reputable auditor? And the biggest one of all, where is that amazing yield actually coming from? Is it real and sustainable, or is it just some short-term gimmick to lure you in before it collapses? And that all leads to the ultimate truth about advanced DeFi. So many people chase this dream of passive income. This is not it. It is active, hands-on portfolio management. You have to watch your positions, you have to understand the ever-changing risks, and you have to be ready to move your money at a moment's notice. So, with all of that on the table, what's the final call? When should you be actively out there farming? And when should you just hodl, just hold on to your assets and chill? Well, it all comes down to a strategic choice based on the market and on you. Here's a quick cheat sheet for you. Farming makes a ton of sense when the market is just chopping sideways or even going down. It lets you generate returns when price action isn't helping you. But if a big bull market is kicking off, that risk of impermanent loss often makes farming a bad bet compared to just holding. And always remember the personal side. If you're too busy to watch things, or if a yield just seems way too good to be true, it probably is. And the smartest move is often just to hodl. So there you have it. We've gone through the skill tree, from becoming the exchange to advanced yield farming, and most critically, how to manage your risk. The strategies are out there, the potential is absolutely real, but so are the dangers. You've seen the advanced playbook. The only question left is, what's your next move?